Buenos días, bienvenidos a nuestro episodio. Hoy vamos a hablar de estudiar medicina en Cuba. Básicamente vamos a hablar del Nelson Fidel Castro Medical Program. Bienvenidos.
Hello. Hi. If it's your first time here, welcome to the space. And if you're returning, welcome back, darling. I am with Dr. Letsukwena Maletswalo, and I'm here bringing you yet another really exciting and intriguing conversation that I really think we all need to get part of and start talking about, right? So if you're in the healthcare sector and you're in medicine or interested in medicine or working in healthcare, you probably know or have an idea about the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro program that has a lot of South African students going to train in Cuba to become doctors, and they come back and work the side. So today I have someone who's been through that program. Dr. Nkobeng, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah.
And hi, everybody at home. We'll be talking about
everything that has to do with studying in Cuba. So I hope this answers a lot of your questions. If you have more, leave them down below. I'm sure this lovely lady over here will be happy to answer them. And yeah, we're just going to get close and intimate and just discuss everything and anything related to the program and being back here in SA and working as a doctor. How are you?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm good. So, I don't think you and I have officially met, but we do work in the same space. We're in the same hospital. So Dr. Nkobeng is a medical intern here in Gauteng, just like myself, and it's both our first year as interns. Yes. So, how's internship?
Internship is tricky, but we're getting there. Every entry-level intern will always be the doormat. So we're at that point right now. Do you agree?
That was too early. Okay.
I'm already.
This is too soon. But anyway, where are you from? Where's home for you?
I was born and raised in Benoni.
Okay.
I am the second child of 4, the first girl of 3. Together.
Second child of 4, so you're the second oldest?
Yes.
And the first
girl of 3. So
everyone is girls. You only have one brother.
One brother.
I would have said I have one brother and 3 sisters. I'm the oldest of the sisters and my brother's the oldest. Okay, where's home?
Home is Benoni, Crystal Park. I was born and raised there, as I said. Just around the corner. I went to high school in Benoni High, which is also in the same, Primary school was Rhinefield Primary. So I've just been here all my life.
Really?
Yes, university.
So you're a Joburg girl?
Yes, I am.
So you grew up in Benoni, like that's home?
That's home for me. I don't have Emakaya.
I was about to ask, where's Gomakaya?
I don't have. My father is from Benoni. My mom is from Benoni.
Where are their parents from?
Their parents, my mother's original parents are from Limpopo, but she was raised in Benoni because her mother gave her to her sister to help her. If you get into umshado, and you don't have kids, you need somebody to come and help you. So my mom was the sacrificial lamb. She was brought to Benoni to live with her mother's younger sister.
Oh.
So she didn't really have a connection with Limpopo, except the fact that she left 12 other siblings in Limpopo.
That's a big family.
It's a big family, but
sounds very familiar for me.
They're not really, when you're born in a different place from everybody else, there's that disconnect.
Yeah.
So they're not really together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
And my dad, sorry to interrupt, is also from Benoni. His original dad is from Nyetse, Northwest, but they also didn't have that connection because black fathers, this is South Africa, another pandemic.
Standard, yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. You're literally like a city girl.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, because I haven't met a lot of people who are from Joburg. There's a lot of people from Joburg, but who don't have a Makaying to go to.
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yes, I don't.
It is.
Yes.
Oh wow, no, that's very interesting. So tell me about being in primary school, high school. How was that experience? Where did you go? What's your story there?
I've never been good with institutions, but we have to go through school. Primary school was okay. I did make some leadership positions in primary school. I was a part of the SRC or RCL at the time. High school was also the same. In Benoni High, I did make part of the SRC, but I wasn't very good. You know, academically I was struggling. In high school I was going through a lot of emotional and family things, and abazali at the time didn't understand or bebangazi, because you know abazali then and now there's no communication. So if this is happening, it happens and you go through it. Tina, now we're the generation of therapy and getting through things. But
did you ever have the sex talk?
No. The sex talk did not happen, but I remember myself being on Mixed with a cousin of mine, Urina. She had visited me, and this other girl was telling us about a blowjob. So we fell asleep and left the phone on that conversation. My dad walked in, he saw the phone, he took it, he didn't say anything. We knew we were in trouble, but nothing happened. It's like something happened. Yeah. We didn't get the phone back then. So no, I didn't learn about sex from Ekai. Which is now the part tricky. You know, when you don't know about anything, you go out to the world and the world teaches you. It's not what it is, but it's the perception the world understands about sex.
I mean, LO didn't even make any difference in high school, right?
What was LO though? LO, I just think we'd find keep a subject or upgrade it, man, because even us in high school, I can't say LO taught me something. Still, how many people are HIV positive in the country? Us at the hospital, how many youngsters are we admitting on a daily who are HIV positive? Mothers, I'm just from
viral load, low CD4 count. Guys, if you are HIV positive, please take your medication.
Definitely,
if you haven't tested,
definitely,
please get tested. You know, and we're gonna touch on that and the whole public health and preventative health in a second,
yes.
You know. But tell me, so you were in high school. Which high school did you go to?
Benoni High.
Benoni High,
yes.
You did say Benoni High. And what was your character then, and how is it different to the person that you are now?
I've always had a strong personality. I've always, like I said, leadership roles were always my thing. So even in high school, I had a character that was offensive to some, because when you're strong and you don't understand what that can be made into, you're just a strong personality, offensive to a lot of people, you're rude, you're not very grounded in what this can be. So now, as the journey of life teaches us, man, you know, I'm straightforward, but we can't be that person in this adolescent stage. If somebody has to be confronted about something, you don't have to be blunt. You know, that's the one thing I've struggled with. I can literally say to a person, "Pat unugi kwapa," you know, and the other person would be like,
"You're brave,
but why are you so rude?" And it didn't come to me as being rude, because I don't come from a family that talks. It's like, this needs to be done, that's it. So ngakula and realize, no man, there are better ways of approaching things, and I'm nkulile now compared to that. I dread high school. I don't have any high school friends.
Really?
I don't talk about high school. It's nkulile, because
are you sad about it?
I'm not sad about not having high school friends, because I'm not a very person. I'm so detached.
What does mean?
You know, there are those people who have friends and they need friends and they're okay. I've always been okay with being alone, because my parents don't have friends. We just a nuclear family like this.
Okay.
So yeah, that's how it's been.
Okay. So which year did you graduate?
High school.
Yeah.
2011.
Okay.
Yes.
You graduate 2011. How did you end up deciding that in 2021 I will be a doctor?
Guys, I had no idea that I would be where I am today. I am like literally the grand majority of students that come out of high school and they're mediocre.
Okay.
And when you're mediocre, there's no bursary, there's no help. You're just stuck in the middle.
What do you mean by mediocre?
Yes, mediocre academically.
Okay.
I had an average of a D in matric.
Okay.
And my parents didn't even think I'd go to university.
D is like 60s, 50s. 50s.
That's my average. Okay, maybe it's 60, but somewhere between D and C. So I got out of high school. I had applied at UCT for a BSc in biological sciences, medicine, and something else I don't recall. I did the same for UP. I got my 6 rejection letters, and I knew what?
We applied for medicine.
Where are we going? Yes. Where are we going? I didn't know. Okay, what's gonna happen? So I followed UP because it was closer to me at the time. I went there. I was like, okay, I know I've got a CD average, but I need to move with my life. You know, I can't be at home because at the time, mama mbeka things nama chips. So I knew if I stay behind, I'm gonna be that person helping out my mom with this business. And I knew, no ways, I've got bigger dreams for myself. I've got a bigger future that I imagine for myself. I can't be here. So I went to UP. At the time I was being helped by my good friend Utebi, and I found out about something called the extended program, AUP. So UP has an extended program for people with CD averages. You get through, okay? I managed to get through, still no bursary. I was sitting at home until second or first week of February when I called them again to find out if they have a space. Then they said, yes, come through, we do have a space. There's even a bursary, you've got res, you've got books. And it was a shock. Other people have bursaries because manama distinction, mina angna ne one. You know, what am I doing? I get there, I meet a good friend of mine, Melina. She repeated matric because she thought she wasn't good enough. And now she had the distinctions she needed, but still UP didn't take her for medicine. Now in the place that we are in the world, it's not just about academics, it's also about connections and imali. So a lot of them had distinctions, and I was one of the few that did not. Salwa. First year came, it was rough. It was like re-matric, but more intense. You do the maths, the physics, they establish Ubutugupi, and then at the end of the year, they promise to choose 15 to 20 people from this program to integrate now into medicine. So there was hope, you know, you're thinking, I can work hard, I can do this. First year, they choose the first 15, I'm not part of it. Second year, I'm like, no ways. Let me weigh my options. I know there are people who are stronger in this class than me academically, and I know they'll go through, and I'm always going to be doing a BSc, which is something I don't want to end up doing.
So, but you're in the extended program right now.
So the first year was the extended program. The second year now was integration into UP main program. So it's now in the second year I was in the main program at Hatfield campus, BSc Biological Sciences.
Okay.
Then that's where you have to now choose which uyapi. In your BSc, there are people who took accounting, people who took something different, what they wanted. But we all started to realize, Guti, we are more than 1,000 in this class. You know, BSc classes, people are sitting in the lecture halls, even filling the stairs.
Yeah.
We are more than 1,000 in this class, and 15 out of 1,000
is gonna get into the program.
That is a drop in the ocean, you know?
How did you make it?
I was like, it's not happening. The Cuban bursary came out. And then my friend was like, bruh, you want medicine? I want medicine, let's do it. She couldn't apply, she's got parents who were sick at the time, and I'm like, we have to go. Now the reality is you're going alone. I'm applying through Gauteng Department of Health.
So how did you find out about the, you know, the Nelson Mandela?
Okay, so the Nelson Mandela Fidel Castro program had a poster in universities, especially health sciences side, because they knew a lot of people want to go into that. So I saw the poster, it said, you're gonna study medicine in Cuba, you get a stipend, fully paid bursary, you need a minimum average of a D. And I was like, they're talking to me. I am the D of the class. I need to get this. So everybody kept asking, how is it possible that Cuba's accepting such average students, whereas in South African universities, you need your distinctions, you need to be a very, you know? And I also thought to myself, this could be difficult for me because academically I wasn't strong at the time. Cuba took us in, and the first thing we do in Cuba is matric. So Cuba re-evaluates your level of knowledge. If it is good enough, then you are going to go into the medical field or the engineering field, or you don't just go to Cuba and start medicine. No, love. The first year is re-evaluating.
Wait. How did you apply? What was that process? Because I know a lot of people like are interested in that. Like, how do I apply? Where do I get the forms? What's required of me, etc.
So at the time, you could get the forms at your local clinics and hospitals, which is still happening now. So if you want to go to Cuba, you go to your local clinics and hospitals and you ask the clinical manager if they've heard about the Cuban program. And if they haven't, then you go to your, is it a health district? Where they put because I remember at the time it was Fox Street. They had a health,
district.
Yes, they had a health building, and we'd go there. We get our forms and everything. Then there are interviews. Obviously, they shortlist you. Obviously, there's 1,000 of us who apply. Then there's a lot. There's a lot. In my year, I think Gauteng took 100 students to Cuba. So in every province in the year that we were leaving, there was a specific number, and it amounted between 1,800 students at the time that left for Cuba. So then you can imagine how many people applied in Gauteng alone. So we went for our interviews. You call for the first interview, then the second interview, and then they call you on the phone if you've made it.
Is it a hectic interview?
The interview, it wasn't hectic to my to my memory. I remember Uguti, we got there were 5 or 6 people on the panel, and they asked you, where do you come from, what do you want to be, why this program, what do you know about Cuba, and if Cuba's difficult, what are you gonna do? I was adamant on going to Cuba. I told myself ngiyahamba angazi ukuthi Cuba iguphi on the world map, but this is my door to get somewhere. So when they asked me if Cuba's difficult, what are you going to do? I said, I'm a survivor. I don't know what Cuba looks like. I've never heard of Cuba before this. I've looked on Google to see what's happening, and Google doesn't give you a lot of information about Cuba.
I've searched, and it's very vague.
It gives you the tourist side, and you never really learn Cuba until you go to Cuba. So how it is, but I'm going. I applied. I got called. Duguti, you should pack your bags. Come and get your things. They helped us with our passport. We paid about 600 rand to sort that out, the pictures, the everything, and then everything else was taken care of by them.
So you only spent
600 rand for my passport. The rest they did for us. Everything. You obviously have to spend your own money to pay for the luggage that you're gonna take to Cuba, which at the time was 23 kilograms, and they also gave us a lab coat, Spanish, English dictionary.
Let's speak about that.
You're ready.
I heard that you guys, the first year, so you said you do matric again?
Yes.
But I also heard that you learn, like, the first year is literally just the language.
Cuba is smart because the way they integrate us is not the way you'd expect to be integrated anywhere else in the world. You first think, there'll be an English translator and no. From the time you get off the plane, it's Spanish. You are the only English-speaking people, you yourselves, coming to Cuba. When you get to the airport and they ask me for your passport and your identification, it is in Spanish. You do not know what they want. They show you with their hands. It is in Spanish. You get on your yellow bus. It takes you to school, and it is all Spanish. We drove off to a farm.
So you're literally just following signs and
that's
people.
it. There's no English or any other language, because we met other African brothers and sisters from Angola, from Mozambique, from all the other countries, and all of them speak their own language: Portuguese, French from the Congo, and us English. Nobody has a common ground. And after the first few weeks, you learn your way, because you have to go to the shop. You have to go to the cafeteria. You have to find your way back home, because we didn't live on the main campus. We lived in the hotel outside of the main campus.
I've heard there are provinces.
Yes, there are also provinces with different universities that have the same setup. So no way in the entire country do you find English-speaking people except yourselves.
Really?
I'm telling you.
So Spanish is it or nothing?
Even the English people who are coming to teach us English speak Spanish. Do you understand? The English is...
So the Spanish is taught in Spanish, not in English?
No, nothing. You get there and you hear buenos días, ¿cómo están ustedes? Vamos a... And
everybody's like, hello, how are you?
Yes, and everybody's like... We're looking at each other like, what happened? What is going on? Your dictionary is very, very important. It's a pocket dictionary. It helps you with everything. Money. the first week basidle imali like crazy, because you obviously don't understand the currency, and if somebody says it's 5 pesos or $5 for you, it's like, oh my god. So imali yakho iyaphela, and as time goes on you're like marabang robile. But you can't obviously go after that person because ihambile imali yakho. So you learn ngokubona ukuthi hamba kanjani.
So the first year when you get there, it's the matric.
Yes. So the first year is matric and Spanish.
Matric and Spanish.
Yes.
So that's 12 months.
It's supposed to be 12 months, but if you get there late, the program doesn't wait for you. You're forced to do everything.
You just fall in
time.
whenever.
So we learned Spanish and did matric in 6 months. Okay. And after that, you're supposed to be ready for medical Spanish now, because we are trained and we learn this medicine in Spanish.
Okay.
Yes.
So is that 6 months adequate enough to be in a space where you can learn medicine, which is a different language on its own, in a different language that you actually don't understand?
That's where the filtering happens. A lot of the people who are able to manage with e-language will stay behind. And
stay behind where come back to essay or still do the
stay
program?
Behind in the language program, because now they will understand the efficiency is the language. Obviously, maths is taught in Spanish, physics is taught in Spanish, chemistry, and if you don't get Spanish, chemistry guys already in English, it's just on another level. So that's when they can filter, okay, this person is ready for Spanish and medicine, or this person is not ready and they have to stay here for another 6 months, and then they'll reintegrate with the next group that's coming.
Oh, so is that why people finish at different times?
Yes, people finish at different times, also because of other problems that we face in Cuba. Understanding Guti, if you're in a South African university, you're exposed to alcohol, you're exposed to drugs, you're exposed to prostitution, you're exposed to all of these other things and coping mechanisms that are not suitable, but what we use in university levels everywhere. So when you get to Cuba, you remember that you've left family, you've left your close friends, you're alone. If you're an introvert, you can't even make abangan, you know? It's difficult for you. Some people were already drinking in South Africa and they'd resort to alcohol. Some people were already in a different lifestyle, and when they get there, they don't know how to cope, because and when we got there was no internet.
That's something that I actually wanted to touch on. I've heard about the internet issue, and you guys have to go to hotels and things. So now, tell me about yes, I'm assuming medical school is hectic. There's a lot of, academia, you need to study, you need to spend your time. What are the coping mechanisms? It's a different country, like you said, it's away from family.
So this is the point where I have to mention my disclaimer that in this interview, I'm solely speaking from my perspective. I'm not an ambassador for the Cuban program, and obviously everything that I'm speaking is my personal experience. So other people obviously have their own experiences. I've always been able to get into a place and move, so it wasn't difficult for me. Uguti integration, the food at first was difficult, obviously, but they say uguti ingulube ila idoti patianon. You know what I'm saying? You move. For me, I've always been umuntu womuntu. So I don't need a lot of people to survive. I just need one person. And at the time, it can be a boyfriend, it can be a close friend. And that's what kept me going. There's another person. But for other people, you go to the clubs, it's cheap. Alcohol was like, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't drink alcohol in Cuba, I'm not very aware of the prices. I know Bucanero, which is one of the brands, like Heineken, is like 50 cents. 50 cents, but like buying a Heineken
bottle
for 50 cents.
Which year was this?
This was when we got there in 20.
Can I go back and find the same price?
It was literally 50 cents, which is like half of $1. $1 now is like 15, 16 rands. It's like half of that. So it's obvious, if unemali, because we were getting paid $200 stipend monthly, and everything in Cuba was cheaper at the time.
How much was that in rands?
Close to 3,000 rand.
As a student.
That's your stipend to buy food, to buy clothes, to live.
Okay, we'll get on to the coping mechanisms there. Mara, I want to know about the academics. How is that? Because I know we here, I study in Stellenbosch, so there's a very hectic academic program that we are in, right? So you start first year, it's really the basics, physiology, anatomy. Second year is when you get into all the systems and you're learning a lot of pathology and the clinical work of what you're going to see in hospital. And then third year is when we get into hospital and start seeing patients, and we correlate in what we've been learning in second year. And then from third year onwards, it's clinical rotation, academics, clinical rotation, academics, as alternating with each month. How does it work for you guys?
So for us, like I said, the first year is Spanish matric. You qualify. Then you get into the real first year of medicine.
Yeah. Where
you'll be learning morphophysiology. I don't know what it is in English. Morphology and physiology together.
Morphophysiology.
It's the integration of morphology and physiology, meaning the beginning of how things become.
So you guys do embryology a lot?
For everything, for every system that we did, we had to do the embryology of it. Where does the brain come from? Meaning the
yolk sac.
Which part of that does what to where? I knew every answer was 4 weeks. When do you find out? For everything was okay. But yeah, that was the first year having to. But with all the years, I can't say it was the same here, because Tina, we do something called morphophysiology. It's morpho 1 until 5. Yes. So each morpho contains its own system, and then they integrate it. So the first 2 years is morphophysiology. Third year, it's very clinical. Now we've always been in hospitals, but now we're there with a purpose. Then third year you start learning.
So you start hospital in first year?
First year we're already in the clinics mostly.
Okay.
And then hospitals, not as much. More clinics, we have to do calls. Calls we do them at our clinics or hospitals. So then third year it's bedside learning in third year. So we did internal medicine the first semester of third year, and then but it wasn't called internal medicine, it was prepedeutica, which is before internal medicine. So that's where you learn why things become this way in internal medicine. Learning how to reason and understand internal medicine. And then internal medicine is like South African internal medicine, where you know the drill. And then after that, in second year, in fourth year, that's when we get into now the different specialities, your gynecologies, your surgeries. And then fifth year, it's more relaxed. It's where you get into your psychiatries, your ophthalmology, your ENTs. That's when we get exposed to that in fifth year. And then after fifth year, we cut off, we come back home.
So you study, it's the first year, the matric and the language, and then 5 years of studying. So that's 6 years that side.
6 years, yes.
Okay. Okay, so it's the same as that 6 years. And then when you come back this side, is it 18 months or a year that you do in South Africans?
So they don't count the first 6 months, because the first 6 months is what's called integration. So that's when we are now learning how South Africa works in the first 6 months. I was at Wits completing in the 18 months. So their program, I think, is the best integration program amongst the other programs. Why I say this, because they're not bombarding you with being marked for things, which is a problem. You know, you now in South Africa, you don't know. I've never seen a blood gas machine in Cuba.
You guys don't do blood gas?
We don't take blood in Cuba. There's a phlebotomist who takes blood for us, and they still use the old test tubes. You know, not like us where there's blood tubes, blood gas machine. No, we didn't do those things with patients. We touch a patient for physical examination. That's where it ends for us as a doctor.
So you don't do procedures on the patient?
A lot of the procedures we didn't do. We only started to do real procedures like surgical small wounds in fourth year.
And then, like, what about inserting catheters, inserting drips?
Nothing.
Really?
Hence the 18 months is very critical, because in South Africa a doctor is everything, right? You do your own bloods, you put in your own catheter, you have to know what's happening. In Cuba it's not like that. There are people who are designated for that. There's a nurse who's specifically designated for catheterization, for inserting drips and things like that. So that's why we need the 18 months for physical now, doing medicine, touching, physically doing everything to the finish. Because in Cuba we don't finish. I need to just do your own physical examination. You don't even know which bloods they've taken practically. Yes, you know, because in Ngodini they say you'll do a UNE, but now you see, oh, okay, I'm taking a yellow tube because I need to do this and this and this.
Yeah. So I've been in Stellenbosch, and I've had some interactions and experiences with a lot of the Cuban trained students coming to complete the 18 months here. And a lot of them say like they struggle with adjusting back into the South African system, right? I've heard from different people that a lot of what is studied and how you guys are trained in Cuba is a lot of preventative medicine, and then now you come back here, it's in South Africa, and I mean you've seen how we deal with internship stuff. It's a lot of disease that we deal with, like it's a lot of complications. I don't want to say palliative medicine, but a lot of our patients are sick, very sickly, and they're not seen initially, and that's why they present to us at that stage. And yeah, so just the 18 months and the adjustment back into the system, how was that?
You're on point about the fact that in Cuba we don't do preventative. What
you do?
We do preventative medicine, and you guys do.
Like we do disease, we do preventative, but not so much. But we focus a lot on pathology. Basically,
I know it's called primary health care. Yeah. That's what we focus on.
One of my passions. That hard shame.
It's true. In Cuba, I had only had one HIV positive patient in my entire 5-6 years of being in Cuba.
And an internship?
So, wow. Since I started internship in South Africa, I've seen almost every day you see somebody who's HIV positive. And not just anybody, a severely ill stage 4 HIV, you know, AIDS, that's what we see here. Whereas in Cuba, even rape, I've never had to deal with a person who's been raped. I've only heard about it, but I didn't see it. The 18 months was real. It was stressful, it was real, because now you come to notice that the medicine we practice in South Africa is bulala, guys. I am not happy with the medicine because everybody's sick because nobody has a sufficient level of education to understand. Okay, Masengula like this, I need to go to the hospital. Everybody doesn't want to go to the hospital in South Africa. People sit at home until it's the worst situation, and then we even can't help them sometimes when they come to the hospital. We know it's okay. We have to make the patient comfortable now because there's nothing we can do. In Cuba, yes, we do get to palliative care, but it's not a lot, and it's more in the elderly rather than here. I've had to sit beside a 25-year-old who's terminally ill with something that could have been prevented before. So the 18 months is easy to integrate. It's not enough because internship teaches you life. You know, 18 months.
Like working internship or student internship?
As a working doctor now, because now you're responsible. You know, as a student, you're not as responsible. Now they can call you and say,
senior to fall back
Dr. Nkobeng, you did this and this and this. Then it's like, I know the intern is responsible and they're senior. Because you come as a student, you take your bloods, the minimal procedures we've done. But Wits was good because it made us want to get into the deep. They made us aware with guys. Right now, you're at the back. The South African students are more hands-on with this and this and this, and it's your responsibility as an individual to make sure that you're ready for day one internship. And mind you, day one internship, I think I was on call. And if I was not ready, or if I had not prepared myself in those 18 months, I was gonna drown. I was gonna drown. My first call, it was great because I was with another Wits trained student, Dr. Baba, if I remember correctly. And but I always had the thing in the back of my mind that Wits said we can. Wits said we are prepared for day one. And we did it.
Props of it.
We really, really did. I'm grateful for that 18 months at Wits because academically, as I said, their program, it is the best in the country right now. In fact, Wits is trying to incorporate I think it's our program, if I'm not mistaken. Who's paying us?
Wits.
For what?
To say all of this.
Oh, no. If you knew me while I was at Wits, I was complaining and I was like, no to a lot of things. But when you get out of the system, then you realize, oh shit, these people actually did me justice. Yeah, it was tough. But I'm so grateful to a lot of the professors that they pulled out from retirement to come and teach us and be with us. I'll forever be grateful to Dr. Jacobson, my obs and gynae professor at the time, Prof. Kala, who was doing pediatrics, Dr. Naidu for pediatrics, because some of those life-changing or life-saving skills we would not have learned in the book. And some other students who have been trained in South Africa did not have that privilege to have professors saying, hey, in my 40 years of experience in medicine, this is what I do, this is how it works. And you, as a first year, having adopted that type of knowledge, you cannot be the same as any other intern who did not get that type of training. So even in obstetrics, I kid you not, I enjoyed it because the amount of knowledge they had imparted to us during that 18 months, I cannot compare it to anything else.
Really?
I cannot compare. I'm on my feet as an intern. The doctors I've worked with, the seniors who have been with me can vouch for me and say, but she came in prepared for internship.
Yeah.
I was not struggling all the time trying to figure out my things because the integration, that part, the technical part.
Do you think that's the case for a lot of the Cuban trained students after
that is,
the 18 months?
You're actually right. If your integration does not happen in that manner, you get into being an intern and you are lost. You get there in your first months and everybody's asking, but where did you study? The stigma of Cuban trained now comes on because a lot of people don't know the program and it's very badly stigmatized. They don't know anything. I mean, we are trained this way and they're trained that way. But when you see an example of other Cuban students and you can't even ask, where are you from? When I wear my Wits jacket, nobody can even say, but she doesn't look like a Witsy, you know? Because we had taken, no, everybody else is like,
do you think it's a misconception?
To be honest with you, I don't know about the other programs for how they integrate their people, but I've personally witnessed other Cuban trained students in my internship as we work now, that in some areas they do lag. Maybe they didn't have the amount of support that we did at Wits, or they were not given as much time to get where they needed to be. But it's true, if you don't, the 18 months is critical. It's like you as a South African trained doctor, you've been going to school for 5 years. Imagine after your 5th year, I said, go to work. You're not prepared. Your 6th year also prepares you better. It's okay, fix yourself. You're now more in the hospitals, you're very hands-on as compared to before. So with us, that's what the 18-month does. It qualifies as an adequate 6th year, and I'm glad it's 18 months because had it been 1 year, we'd be talking a different story now. I wasn't ready after the first year of the program.
So that 6 months made the difference?
That 6 months made a difference. Me going to the hospital, being clueless, being in the middle of a resus and being asked things and being like, I need to pronounce them in Spanish because you don't know how to pronounce them in English or you don't even know them in English. Everything was taught to us in Spanish. So that 18 months is now you're reading again. You are giving yourself that time, and that it's power, man. You taking back that power of they don't know anything, and you making yourself the person that you want to see yourself become. So yes, it's not enough, but the critical period of you moving from that to this, I can't even say.
So Wits did you well. Like you can say definitely. Wits, man, well done. I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about that.
Props to them.
What other misconceptions do you think we have about Cuban trained students and doctors?
That they don't know anything. Cuban trained doctors are always drinking because everybody has heard what's in Cuba. And it's not true. Is it not? Not everybody drinks. I was in Cuba. I came back with a clean face. I didn't come back with a pooza face. I drink occasionally because I'm but not like I need to drink. It was a coping mechanism for a lot of people, but it is in South Africa for a lot of people. We come from a nation that drunkards, you know. It's for us in South Africa. A lot of people buy a pooza. It's a norm. It's okay. Even labo malume bethu that we know, bapuza rough. So when kids come to Cuba from disadvantaged backgrounds where they have that type of family arrangement, it's okay. We are angry. You understand? So I don't think it's a Cuban thing.
Yeah.
It's a South African problem. That's what I can say.
Okay.
Because we were in Cuba, like I said, with other African nationals. We were there with the Angolans, we were there with the Congolese, we were there with other nations, and none of them had that problem. It was always a South African student who was found drinking, sleeping somewhere by the bus station, or it was never, so we can't say it's a Cuban, no, South Africans have a drinking problem.
No, I mean, we see that all the time. Every time alcohol opens, lockdown and all.
Yes, so we are those people.
What's in that glass?
It's shampoo, but
So I actually wanted to ask you as well. So given that, right? How do you, what are your regrets? What are your regrets when it comes to
Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba, and choosing the program and everything that you've done.
I can say I regret that I didn't take it seriously. I went to medical school thinking it's medical school, and I could have been a better academic, and I regret that more often than not. I was a lazy person. I just decided, man, let's get this done with, I didn't appreciate that time of sitting by my book and getting that knowledge in, because only now at the end you notice, that did help me. That could have been done better if I did this. But we don't, and many students face this. You don't study as much as you would have liked to. You don't become the top of the crop like you can be, because all of us can.
Cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
They always tell us this, yeah.
But yeah, a lot of us have that potential, and you only notice it when you reach that rotation that you love. That, oh my word, I'm not that bad a student, or I'm not that bad at this and this. If I had given myself time, it's like maths. If you sit down and do the math, you become good at it. Medicine is a practice where if you practice something every day, you become good at it.
No one is born knowing this stuff, and that's something I always tell myself, no one is born knowing everything. Everyone had to learn,
It's the same thing that Twitter was going on about, how the MPCHB gang thinks they know everything. Truth be told, we don't, and we all in a learning process. Sonke siyafunda from first year to that one day when we'll have the PhD in whatever. It's every day you put the effort to be where you need to be. You just make the decision, okay, I'm going to be great, I'm going to be mediocre, or I'm going to be excellent. And that's my biggest regret. I could have taken this more serious. I could have.
Okay. Besides that, what are your other regrets?
I should have lived in Cuba.
Did you go to Havana? Please tell me into Havana.
So the main campus A8 was in Havana. Havana. I really, really wish I had those Havana nights with my colleagues and stop being umama sekaya, always sitting at home, if not with a boyfriend, alone. I should have gone out and only in my final year. Fourth year was when I started to wake up and see, okay, we started having a magazine in Cuba, yes, created by South Africans. I was one of the writers. Now we're having events. Now we're singing. We're winning music competitions in Cuba, because me and another colleague, Matepo, Gail, Dr. Gail now. Hi, Doc. We were performing a lot in Cuba. That's when I was like, we could have been doing this from first year. We could have been something.
Are you a singer?
Yes, I am a singer.
Something I love about a lot of doctors that I've met, I think there's always another passion laying there, another talent. And I'm so inspired about how people actually explore that.
Time, my love.
Time, right?
If I had as much time as...
Can I give us something quickly?
Yeah, Another time.
No, I'm joking. Okay, so now, if you were speaking to someone who's really keen and wanting to study in Cuba, wanting to do medicine, and if that's you, I hope that this relates to you, would you recommend the program?
Listen, do it. Do not even hesitate. This is one of the only programs in South Africa that paid back to black people. Why do I say this? So many of our parents were unable to become doctors or whatever else during the times of apartheid, and we're only given few options of what to become. Many became teachers and lawyers, and that's what we thought but it's not really. Even medicine is not. Now
that you're there,
who are making it, and you see your salary and you think, it's not about the salary. It's not about the salary. It's about the passion more than anything. But basically, if you want to go to Cuba, it's difficult. Mara, you have to decide, I'm going there for what? It's a program that I support fully because who else is going to take a black kid out of an impoverished background and give them an opportunity not just to survive but to also raise other communities, because that's what we are as doctors. As interns, we're starting off as nothing, but we are community leaders already. We are the future for us. It's so bright, and there's so many things that we can do for the people that grew up with us, for where we come from. It's just a matter of choice. And for being given this opportunity to go overseas, overseas.
Passport. How many South Africans have a passport?
You know what I'm saying? Cuba, and know that it's surrounded by North America, South America, by Haiti, by all of these other places. I would not have been to a white sand beach and enjoyed myself had this program not availed itself to me. So I'm very grateful to it. Yes, you'll experience a lot of difficulties. I don't want to romanticize Cuba and make it seem like it's the best thing in the world, because it's not. Cuba is a communist country, not like South Africa, very, very, but very poor. Poorer than even some African countries. So when you go there, you need to go there with a backbone. Don't leave that at home. It's very necessary so that you don't fall into the many things that will delay you from becoming the doctor you're supposed to be at the time that you're supposed to be, like drinking and other things. I mean, in my final year, I was also drawn into the trend of Forex. I lost money. I was in trouble. I was almost deported.
Did you join the church trend?
Thank God I was not a church person at the time, but I could have. Yes, a lot of my friends did join a big church. And a lot of them had to repeat a year because it was so much focus on church and people stopped being themselves. It's like here at home, we do have those churches that are based on good religion, man. And then we have those churches that use religion to make you feel sorry about everything.
These people's vulnerabilities.
Especially when people at church know that you're desperate. Desperation is bad, because now I know if I say we're all meeting at 6 for a 4-hour prayer, you're gonna leave your books. And medicine is highly demanding for you to be able to walk out of your room for 6 hours and chill for prayer. I'm all for prayer, but there are things that we're doing as cards. You know what I'm saying? So the other thing, besides the church thing, the alcohol thing, Forex killed a lot of us.
So wait, did you guys start trading now? What happened? How did you get into that? Because I've heard about the church thing. It was all over the news. A lot of South Africans were being made aware of it. Like the drinking thing is something that we speak about amongst university students. I didn't know about the Forex thing.
Forex thing happened in my 4th year going to 5th year.
Okay.
So now, this lali dog fail a lot in Cuba. Just save your money because you're going home. You want to buy groceries. You don't clothes. And you don't want to bother your parents, because majority of us don't come from backgrounds where your mother can just send you 25 kg of clothes. So you prepare for that. So stock fail, and then these people have a Good Life. They called their company Good Life. Decided we're gonna make money for everyone. And I think in the beginning it was a good idea for everyone, because we're all going home, but then it got out of hand very quickly. The year that this boomed and went bad, the guy made about $8 million from students.
No. Was he scamming students?
It didn't sound like a scam. He said he'll take, for an example, $200, turn it into $4. You'd be like,
so it's
what?
Those WhatsApp stock fells, those...
It was literally... He said he was trading the money in South Africa.
What do you call them?
And it broke so badly because we lost some of our students. They had to leave in 5th year and come back home. Imagine after being in Cuba for 6 years and you're left with 5 months to complete. You're told you're going to be deported because firstly, Forex is illegal in Cuba. And besides that Forex is illegal, there were Cubans who were also involved who, let's say for an example, I'm doing Forex, you're a Cuban, I'm saying, they say this thing has got a lot of money, you take your savings, and Cubans don't have money. You take $1,000 of your savings, you give it to me. I'm not liable, right? I'm gonna give it to Good Life. Good Life says we've lost the money or the money's not coming back. The Cubans are gonna come with axes to come and kill me. Because that's understandable. In Maliabo, if they don't have $1,000, that's years of savings for them. Because an average minimum wage, it's 10 USD. Now imagine 10 USD a month is ofika nini 1,000 USD.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons one of us was deported, because they were chasing him. They had promised they're gonna kill him, and you can't be doing such things in Cuba. And to protect his life also, they said you have to go home. And I'm sitting here, and I'm one of those people who had taken $8,000 from other students, not just South Africans, and they were on my neck. And that's my biggest bloody regret. Till this day, I even believe Uguti, I'll be able to make money, be a millionaire, and go back to those people and give them, because I still kept their names and how much they gave me, because it killed me. It killed me. It wasn't my intention. I really thought the other guy had good intentions, and
everyone was gonna make money.
And my boyfriend at the time had put in 2,000 USD of his savings.
So
I had also put in so much of my savings, and he was only getting into it because I was like, baby so bad, baby so papa. And then the guy was broke, and I was broke, and I can't save him, he can't save me. It was that situation.
Sure.
Yeah, it was.
That was tough.
But thank God, if you're gonna go to Cuba now, that does not exist. So, on the safe side.
So now,
Yes.
would you do it again, the program?
It's tough. And I'd cry every day, but I'd do it again, because I don't think there's any other opportunity for me like that, you know. I'm here, the doctor, for God's sakes. I'm the only Dr. Nkobeng in the world. There's no other Dr. Nkobeng in my family. In fact, I don't know any other Nkobengs. It's just us, the nuclear part, for the mere fact that I'm the first in my nuclear family. And it's even my little sister has someone to look to today and say, yo, Linnangaba doctor, you know, Linnangaba this and this. Because my brother didn't go to school. He didn't finish. My sister, who's after me, also didn't go to school. So now there's this 15, 16-year-old girl who can say, my sister's a doctor, so I can be a doctor too, or I can be anything else. And there's no price to pay, man, for being able to head other people's futures or help other people become the people they want to be. Not just or like we were given before. And I'm not downplaying the fact that teachers work hard. No, I'm just saying those were the little options that our parents were given before. So for us, this generation, I feel like these kids should feel like being a doctor is nothing. There's a bigger step than this. Yeah, I'm proud that we are where we are. But guys, people are living out there. There are bigger and better ways to make a killing. And these kids need to be introduced to that. That's what I'm grateful for.
Do you think you found your calling in medicine? Do you think this is what you're meant to do?
Let me tell you something strange. I was in a taxi in 2017, I think, coming back from one of these Cuban things, and I was going to Davidson. And I met a taxi driver who was my transport driver in grade 7. And he recognized me and I did not. And I was like, how cool. He's like, yo, umgakanani mntanam. Ngithayo khona athi kuphi? Kareng seCuba ngifunda imedicine. Yazi wakhala. Wathi mntanam dala uhlala eTexini uhlala uthi no, doctor. And I had literally forgot. Imagine grade 7. Nikili about this. And I was always like, one day hangamthola this guy. Ngizombonga ngithi, thank you so much for like waking me up to something that I always wanted to be, but I forgot about. Because I got to matric and I just applied, but I was not knowing Wuti from La.
You had manifested.
From La, grade 7. And at young Wuti, it was gonna happen. I don't know how, but God made this possible today. So whether medicine or not, I think I was always meant to be a healer, because later on in my life I also discovered that I also have a calling or a gift. So ubnyanga nagu, the English way, or somehow I was just meant to be a healer. So yes, I have found my calling.
I love that for you.
Don't make me cry. On live TV.
I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank you.
for
It's
the
been
time.
great. It's been amazing.
I think I've really been wanting to have this conversation with someone, but I just haven't had the space and the platform. And I'm glad that I get to share it with you. And I really hope that you took some pointers from them. And if you have something to add or something to ask, please do drop it down below. I'm sure you'll still be willing to connect after this. So what's your take-home message or your message to whoever's viewing this video about being a doctor, having been trained in Cuba, gone through the program here in SA, and now being a healer in South Africa, Gauteng?
Well, honestly speaking, like I said before, it's not about the money, because this is a very demanding career, physically and mentally. So we get into it young. We see a lot of things that we aren't supposed to see because we're also trying to save lives. Don't think saving lives is fun. It's really, really not. I come home about 2 to 3 times a week and I'm finished. Mentally, I've had enough. I'm either crying or about to, because we see so much, and there isn't a lot of debriefing programs around that,
If any.
So what I'd say to you is it must be something you want to do from the bottom of your heart. And the salary it's not enough. How much do you pay for your back to just come back? The bed you need to even buy. You can't just, no, because you're on your feet, and the calls. Before you want to venture into medicine, I think on career day, you should actually shadow a doctor. We are allowed to bring an intern actually. We are allowed to take in students to work, so you can just decide, be in that situation, be like, I want this or no. And I've had colleagues who have done medicine and now are like, I wish I had done something else. I've wasted 7 years of my life studying and now becoming an intern only to hate my job. It's not what it is. The community has over-romanticized being a doctor. It is not
put on a pedestal, right?
Yeah, it is definitely not the hill that you should die on if this is not what you want. And to those who really love this, look, it is fulfilling. If it is your thing, you get there. I wake up excited sometimes, and my partner will always say, you hated internal medicine for the first 3 weeks, but I know you, the last 2 months you are in it and you're like, oh my god, I'm back to medicine again. But honestly speaking, starting anything new, it's not child's play. But more importantly, if it is your passion, if you don't ever do it, you live with the regret of not ever doing, like medicine. So vuga upande uzenzele. If this is your calling, come. I'm willing to mentor people, but only people who are serious about what they want to do. Mentorship programs are also going to be set up for future doctors, but not just future doctors. A new revolution or a new generation of doctors is coming up among us. I've noticed how we more about standing up for our rights and not being abused in the workplace, and actually being supportive. This whole thing of having consultants or registrars in ward rounds shouting at interns like abantwana babo, that's not us. I don't think I'm going to be that type of reg. I'm very welcoming. The students that have worked under me, 6th-year students, know that I'm all about educating you where I can, where I know, and helping you get to where you need to be. Because in our time, we know, we've experienced those people who have bashed us and made us feel little or like we are not in the right place. Like, young girl, you're stupid, why are you here? But honestly, it's not about that. I'm all about good vibes. You should be about good vibes. She's about good vibes. And do it if you really love it. Because like I said, you're going to wake up with a lot of regrets. Yeah.
Literally all I can say. No, that was really lovely.
Sure.
I think matric me would have really appreciated that. You know, because I think we're applying, we think we're informed at the time, but are we really? You know, in retrospect, we're barely informed. We barely knew what we were getting ourselves into. So I really hope that if you're a matric student, if you're someone looking to going into medicine, you should do more research. You have a lot more resources available to you now than we did then.
Definitely.
So definitely use them, and you know, just know what you're getting yourself into. And if you want to go to Cuba, and join
Do
the
it,
program and
do
study
it,
that
do it.
side. It's an opportunity to travel,
Yeah.
to be in a different country, to learn a new language. I love languages. If I had a superpower,
He'd
it would
speak
be to
Spanish.
speak every single language in the world. And yeah, so if you are really looking to that program, feel free to keep in touch. We'll definitely answer your questions below. And just see you, lovely lady.
Thank you guys.
Thank
it was
you
great
so
having
much.
me or being here.
It was nice having you.
Yeah.
No, this was really good.
Thank
and
you.
yeah, I'm excited to see you again on this platform. And yeah, feel free to engage with us. I hope you enjoyed that. Peace.
Let's say goodbye in Spanish.
Ah, yes.
Bueno, mis compañeros, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros hoy. Por favor, you should like and subscribe to this channel. Nos vemos. Ciao.